Hey everybody, it's Tradiest Trades here back with another video. I'm going to show you a COT setup market this week, just like I do every week. And before I start, this isn't investment advice. I'm not telling you should go out and buy or sell anything. That's your own responsibility. There's real risk to trading. You need to know that. And I'm not telling you what to do here. It's educational only. And I like to give credit to the man, the legend, Larry Williams. I learned this stuff from Larry. It's how I successfully speculate in these markets, and credit is given where credit is due. So let's hop into the setup market for this week that I'm sharing on YouTube, I should say. There's lots of other setup markets, but I'm sharing one on YouTube. So here we are. The first place we start, the COT commercial index. What do we see? The COT, the red line, the commercials are very long relative to their last 26 weeks of positioning. So that's interesting. That's a code number one. One thing I'll point out in the greens is that the green line, the small specs, if you follow my channel, you know that a lot of the time we like to fade the small specs because they get it wrong a lot. But what I've been finding lately is that the small specs and the greens actually are pretty decent, kind of similar to the meat markets in that they seem to actually be pretty good. Like, look at, they got really short at this high back here. They knew what they were doing. So what we see there is they're very, very bullish right now, along with the commercials. So that's a nice bullish code. Then we see a sentiment. Last week, the sentiment from the advisors got very bearish. So that's still a setup condition. This is hanging over because this sentiment indicator pops out really quick. So this is a bearish or bullish code number two. Then right here, when we're looking at natural resource commodities, we really like to pay attention to the gold line. And we see gold right here is the gold line. We see that wheat is very undervalued relative to the price of gold. So there's three codes. That right there is enough to turn off the screen and say, you know what, we should be watching for confirmation to take a technical entry trigger into this market. But there's more for this setup. So what we see here is this bubble up. So when we see this bubble up, we see these little bubbles form where the positioning of the large specs bubbles up against the commercials. Those are very nice market turning points generally. We see it happened here. That's a great time to buy. Now we see it happening right now. So that's a bullish code as well. So we go over here and kind of take a look under the hood, and we're going to dissect open interest, and we're going to just look at the net open interest line of the commercials we see here. They're very bullish. Like, they've been bullish, more bullish here, and way back here they got pretty bullish too, but generally speaking they're very bullish wheat right now. So that is another bullish code. And then what we also need to look at is what's open interest doing relative to the price and relative to the positioning of these three players. Well, we see open interest has been increasing on this down move. So whenever open interest increases, you need to say to yourself or ask yourself who is causing or who is driving the open interest increase. And if open interest is increasing while the commercials are getting way more long, that's a very bullish thing to see. So that's another nice code, a bullish code underlying this market. There's a fly in the ointment with wheat. It's that it does have a weaker seasonal. This is a true seasonal on the weekly chart based off of 10,000 weeks of data. So though seasonal is weaker, but if we have more than enough other setup conditions telling us it's bullish, we can ignore the seasonal, because what seasonals do is tell us what has happened in the past, but the important or more important data is what is happening now with real money on the line by the real smart people, which are the commercials. So that's a bullish setup condition in wheat. We also have spread divergence coming in. So spread divergence, what I do here, this bar chart is showing the front month, the May contract, and this line chart down here takes the May contract minus the next month out. So it's just ZWK minus ZWN, and that gives us this spread. So we see his price has been coming down while the premium is picking up. So what this tells us is the commercials are buying the front month more aggressively than the next month out. So combining this with all the other things that we're seeing with the positioning, the valuation, the sentiment, the open interest, that tells us that the smart people that really know what they're doing in this business are aggressively buying this market. So that's the bullish setup. So we've got a setup. Now, do we have anything to confirm this trade to tell us that we should go ahead and take positions? And we do, actually. And in fact, I took a loss on wheat this week. There was a qualified trend line coming down. It drew something like this, and I got long right here, and then I got stopped out right here. So still, that being said, why did I take it? Well, it was set up for longs last week. And then what did I see? I saw accumulation coming into the market. So this dip down here, which I've marked with the blue line in price, was not matched by lower lows on the Progo. So that tells us Progo is one of the three measurements that I use to measure accumulation and distribution. So that tells us that this market is being accumulated, which tells us we should be good to take entry triggers. Okay. So I've taken one shot at taking a pick in the bottom. I failed, got stopped out. So I'm going to wait for this to give a more of a confirmed trend change, like a 12 Donchian or an 18 period moving average entry method, get some more bullish confirmation, and then ride this thing up. So that's the setup market for this week. Hope you enjoyed learning from this. You learned something, incorporate it into your own trading, and help you trade better. If you want, you can shoot me an email at tradiustrades@gmail.com. I have a free Discord where you can join in and chat with a great group of other people and follow along my trades and learn something from me that can hopefully make your trading better. So that's it for this week. Thank you very much for listening. And I just wanted to also say, hit my 200. I got 200 followers on YouTube this morning, and I thank you guys for your interest in my work, and I hope to be a positive contribution to your trading going forward. So thanks again, and have yourself a great week.